And we're back. Sorry, just had some problems with Skype. I guess we should be using Raidcall instead of Skype, huh? Anyway, back in the new call now. Hopefully, sound quality should be a little bit better, and we'll get into this game. Anyway, this is still the DreamHack. Not DreamHack. Wow. Someone mentioned DreamHack, and I got confused now. No, the Fnatic play Raidcall DotA2 Open number 2, and we are actually in the round of 16. I don't know, the third round, basically. I think this would be the round of 16, although I don't actually know how many teams are left in it, so maybe, yeah, I think so. Anyway, it should be a really good game. It is DTS versus mTw. Hopefully a bit more interesting than the previous two rounds, now that we actually get to see good teams go up against good teams. And who knows what we'll see from these two. But I know someone who certainly knows a lot more about what we will be seeing than myself. Blitz from Blitz Dota. Blitz, what are you looking forward to in this game the most?
High aggression. Both these teams aren't ones to necessarily turtle. They don't really play that kind of style. They're really, really aggressive on both ends. They really like pushing down towers, ganking. So I expect to see a really, really contested game where both teams just get into massive team fights, hopefully. And yeah, right off the bat, we see the Brewmaster picked off. So now we know that mTw is going to get into team fights.
Yeah,
because that's one of those heroes that you can't get away from.
Yeah, Brewmaster, one of those most definitely signifying you want to go for aggression, unless you're picking Spectre with it, which signifies that you're going to farm a very boring game. But typically speaking, Brewmaster means that you're going to force team fights and use that ridiculous Brewmaster ult to win the aforementioned team fights, usually looking to push and kind of have him as a potential initiator whenever you get an opening with a blink. Someone is actually, hopefully that was just Blitz. I'll double check Skype next time if that comes up again. But anyway, two counter picks coming out from DTS. Leshrac is actually still in the pool, which is not something we've seen that frequently here, because actually there was a first ban Brood. So yeah, Leshrac is going to insta be picked. And I don't know what else will follow that. I mean, there's still Windrunner, potentially a support, something along those lines. Darkseer actually also still there, although I don't know if you pick Darkseer and Leshrac, kind of those heroes are kind of at odds with each other. So I'm not necessarily sure if you would go with that, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, he's one of those defensive teamfight heroes, actually, more than an offensive hero. You typically see him with some sort of late carry.
Yeah.
Complementing him, but I don't anticipate either of these teams picking that kind of lineup. So maybe both of these teams, they've done their research and they think it's a non-factor.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. So in that case, I mean, maybe something more like a Venomancer or the aforementioned. Nope, and it is actually going to be Darkseer. Yeah, I agree. That's definitely unusual. With it doesn't really fit in with the first picks, and it doesn't fit in kind of with the styles of these teams. And having watched DTS as well, you're right. They definitely play very high aggression. But I mean, I guess if they kind of end up going for maybe like a tanky strategy with something like a Night Stalker who kind of just runs in, Darkseer actually can be pretty effective aggressively in a strategy like that. But typically, like you're talking, Darkseer is used for kind of his counter push and the fact that he's extremely effective once you turtle the game later.
Yeah, but he's still a really good pick here because he's a fantastic teamfight hero. He provides excellent escapability, initiation with vacuum. It's really tanky, so maybe they're just using it to kind of like counteract the pandas and just make the game really, really hectic for mTw.
Yeah, but looks like mTw is definitely going to go in for the pushing, picking up that Enchantress. Obviously, having a jungle hero like that early on really guarantees that you can get those early towers and force team fights earlier rather than later. And Darkseer is a great team fight hero as the game progresses. Not such a great team fight hero early on, but he is an extremely difficult hero to actually push against. So Enchantress is going to have to do what you were talking about, basically, where you run around from behind the tower to catch the Darkseer. Because if you just try going in the lane against him, you're going to have an extremely difficult time. Because basically, against Darkseer, he's going to constantly keep that lane, which in theory should be the long lane, unless he goes jungle, but most likely he's going to solo long lane. He's going to constantly keep that lane pushed back to your tower, so there's no way you're going to be able to basically push through the lane and take him out the tower normally, unless he is just careless and gets out of position in the top lane, which is unlikely at a game of this skill level.
Yeah, I assume that mTw is actually, whoever plays the Enchantress for them is going to pick up smoke early on. And from level 2 to 5, if you watch, he's probably just going to sneak in from behind with the other support hero, pick off the Darkseer, and try to take the tower down very quickly.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they pick up their solo long lane, which is going to be the Windrunner. So we'll have to see if they do decide to kind of put the Panda in a dual lane top with the Enchantress in the jungle there, or whether they do end up putting that Panda in a solo mid or dual mid type role. Although I don't imagine it'd be a dual mid. I think only a solo mid, because you're certainly going to want to have two heroes top to go complement that Enchantress. And then meanwhile, we have the Beastmaster picked up. So I don't know. It looks like DTS is actually kind of settling in for a little bit more of a late game. I mean, Beastmaster not necessarily an early or late game hero. He's just kind of an all around placed hero in most lineups. But I don't know. I mean, typically speaking, you use the vision more defensively than you do offensively. The Hawk is a little bit better at defensive vision than it is offensive vision, because obviously when it's sitting still and invisible, it's safer and kind of easier to spot things than when you actually have to move it aggressively through an enemy jungle. It's easier to get it picked off. So I don't know. What do you think with that Beastmaster pick? Or they are just going to go with the early Inner Beast and try to push with something that summons creeps, but I'm not really sure that there's anything like that left.
I mean, it looks like they're just picking up the best teamfight heroes possible. Beastmaster is a good counterpicking against Panda, because if you can burst them down fast enough with the Roar, it's a really good initiation spell, especially to use on a hero like Panda. It also counters the Windrunner pretty well and the Enchantress, but I don't actually know where they're going to put the Beastmaster. If Darkseer goes the long lane, then I assume he's going to go mid. But right now, nowadays, Beastmaster in the long lane is a really common strategy, just because you can cut down the trees. But we'll see. And they actually pick up a Death Prophet now, so maybe the Darkseer jungles and the DP goes mid, and the Leshrac goes bottom, and the Beastmaster goes top.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. Maybe, never know. There could be a Beastmaster jungle, although I don't imagine they would. I mean, the Darkseer is a much more effective jungle than the Beastmaster, so I don't see why they would do that. Typically, the Beastmaster is a little bit more popular to put in the solo long lane if you are on the Dire rather than the Radiant. First of all, because mostly because you can actually stack the Ancients when you have nothing else to do there, whereas on the top lane for the Radiant as the Beastmaster, you don't really have a lot else to do when the vision does show you that you can't come get experience. But, I mean, Beastmaster's still very good in the sacrifice lane regardless. And meanwhile, the Shadow Demon is actually, maybe there will be that kind of dual lane with the Panda top with the Shadow Demon now, and they will decide on some sort of a mid to put up against the Death Prophet. Maybe they will send the Shadow Demon mid, because Shadow Demon obviously strong against Death Prophet. Death Prophet going to be in a kind of precarious position, though, because that Enchantress is going to be roaming with smokes very early on, like you talked about. And the problem with Death Prophet mid is that in order to farm effectively, she has to push the lane, which puts her in a difficult spot and makes it very easy for her to get ganked by a smoking Enchantress.
Okay, so this pretty much reveals the lanes. OD should be mid, Shadow Demon, Panda, Enchant in the jungle should be top, and Windrunner should be bottom. And on the flip side, DTS pretty much picked 4 heroes that have no lane synergy. So you're pretty much going to see 3 solos here, they have 3 heroes that will take their own individual lanes. The Darkseer should jungle, and they should pick up a support hero to go with the Leshrac. So far, they've maximized on their team fight, and I assume now they're just going to work a little bit on their laning. So a hero like CM Venge, some sort of initiator, aside from the Beastmaster, just maximize on the stuns.
Yeah, I guess the CM would be a pretty good decision at this point. Obviously, the problem... Yeah, well, there we go. One problem with CM is that she doesn't have a real disable against the Panda, which is really important to be able to lock him down, or to be able to lock the OD down. But, CM basically the best of what's left. Probably more effective than the Venomancer, although the Venomancer ult would have been pretty strong here, although... actually, no, the Venomancer ult's not that great, to be perfectly honest, against an Enchantress, against a Panda. So, yeah, it worked out pretty well, I guess. So you're thinking that it's going to be Leshrac, CM dual bottom?
Yeah, and then it's going to be Darkseer, jungle bot, DP mid, Beastmaster top, and on the flip side it'll be OD mid, Shadow Demon, Panda, Enchant top, and Windrunner bot.
Pretty... I don't know. The OD pick was a little unusual, actually, in my opinion. I mean, I guess... first of all, OD's not really a pushing pick. He's definitely more of a farming hero. He doesn't really do much, although at the same time, he kind of can work in a pushing lineup because he does give your heroes more spammability on the... I mean, instead of taking advantage of the fact that he does a ton of damage later on, which he really doesn't in this situation because he's going up against 4 int heroes. Well, I mean, he still does because his Arcane Orb is pretty insane. But, I mean, his ult isn't going to do as much damage as you might normally think. It does give them a little bit of teamfight presence, and more importantly, like I said, the Aura actually is going to give them a lot of spammability, especially with something like a Shadow Demon who can just constantly basically have full mana once the OD gets a couple levels in his passive and they push together. And so M has already come up here and cut down the trees very quickly, and he's going to run back to do a good job, cut all the trees effectively. So going to have complete vision there. The lane ward is going to come out in response from mTw to try to keep him back, but without the trees there, it's going to be a little more difficult because he's always going to know whether they are there or not, and if they roam, he's actually going to get experience. Meanwhile, yeah, the Dark Series in general down here. We'll have to see if he does decide to go for the smoke stacking trick or not.
Yeah, the biggest thing here, though, is that the Beastmaster just cut down all the trees, so it's going to be really hard for the enchant to come in from the right. So, I mean, he's not going to get much farm anyways, but at least this way he's not going to die. And the one thing I'm really worried about for mTw right now is that they have some lack of disables. I mean, aside from the shackle shot, they don't really have a reliable stun, whereas DTS is just maximized on team fight, and they really need to lock down the heroes that DTS has, but mTw doesn't really have those heroes. So I think they're just relying on the massive damage and the burst output of heroes like OD and Shadow Demon's ult. So
yeah, it looks like the CM is actually mid for now, but probably just roaming around to try to place down that ward somewhere. I mean, at the same time, OD should have the advantage against Death Prophet in mid. OD one of the strongest solos when it is int versus int. I mean, one of the few heroes in the game who can actually beat an Invoker and a solo.
Oh, this is so smart. I think DTS is actually going to pull the side, or always want to fly, is going to pull the side camp. To just sort of stack.
Yeah, well, no, 333 is going to pull the side camp. He's going to pull the heart camp, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's actually just going to stack for the darks here.
Yeah, that's actually really clever, which is going to, I mean, at the same time, I don't know, the darks here could be over there doing that while the CM was pulling the lane camp, but this way the CM can actually spend a little bit more time in the mid area, which is going to make it easier for Jackal to get an advantage early on against that OD. Although, then again, I don't know, OD isn't actually that strong and basically until level 3 in the lane, because the 1 level astral spam it doesn't do that much. You need at least 2 seconds on it to really be that effective to deny the experience and to get enough in to make a difference in the last inning. So, I mean, it's definitely a clever strategy, and I do like it, but I mean, the CM being mid is just a questionable effectiveness in my opinion.
Yeah, I assume she's just going to continuously stack, and that's why she's mid. She's trying to get that Darkseer off to a really, really, really good start, just so he can be self-sufficient. I actually...
She does miss the stack.
I think that, oh, does she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by about 1 second.
Yeah, that's kind of painful, because that's the entire reason why she's mid right now.
Yep, and here's the gank I was talking about with the Enchantress coming in. She doesn't only have a Satyr here, she's going to disruption the CM, and CM is probably going to go down. They don't actually have a lot of disables, but the flow from the Enchantress will be enough, and the CM does go down. Astral up on the Death Prophet, just because why not? Give me a little bit more right click.
It's really the Soul Catcher that's going to provide the damage for them. I mean, the CM has like 450 health, but with the Soul Catcher, every hit is doing about 100 damage.
Yeah, and I mean, that's basically exactly what I was talking about. The reason why that gank was so easy was because how far the lane was pushed up. Even with that ward that they did place down, it doesn't really matter when the opposing team smoked up. And yeah, that's I don't know. That's why Death Prophet's not such a popular mid these days. I mean, a few times we do see Death Prophet these days. Actually, she's more frequently put in a side lane just because she's such a liability in the mid. But I don't know. They decided to put the Leshrac in the side lane anyway to guarantee his farm a little more. So Darkseer has rotated and taken the weak camp now. He is going to hit level 3, so he is going to be able to take his hard camp now if he wants, although it is only stacked 3 times, so I assume they're going to wait a little bit longer. He's probably going to wait to get a smoke first anyway, and we'll see what to do with that. Meanwhile, though, the Shadow Demon has actually come to the mid. I mean, there's really nothing he can do in the top right now because of the way the lane is pushed up, so he might as well just be here, making it a little bit easier for the Obsidian Destroyer to farm.
Yeah, and Panda's actually just going to get free farm here. Beastmaster is level 2, so he's not doing too terribly. Winrunner is actually the same level here, but the big thing here is that Leshrac is actually level 5, and he has 1,300 gold in the bank. He's got 23 CS, and if anybody comes down, and if they kill the Winrunner, it's going to be in the tower, because he's so leveled so quickly.
Yeah, Shadow Demon is going to maybe come bottom to try to help out, but there's not really any way they're going to be able to kill this Leshrac. If they try to go on him, they're actually probably just both going to die. So yeah, the Shadow Demon actually decides he's just going to head back mid. But again, they can't really set anything up mid either. Outworld Destroyer, God, why would I even try calling him that? OD, we'll just stick with that. Can't really deal any damage early on. especially since he doesn't have any points in his Aura, which is basically correct. I mean, maxing Astral in the Aura, or at least not getting 1 point in the Orb until usually level 8 is pretty standard. But it just means that he's not going to be able to do a lot. They're going to maybe consider going here. With 2 points in Soul Catcher, they can do some damage, but it's just not enough. They need some sort of disable, or slow at least, and that's what the Enchantress is coming in here for. Smoke again. Disruption actually going to come out. Will it have chain into Astral? Astral actually not on cooldown, or is off cool, not usable. And so the Death Prophet actually is going to make it out, getting surged by the Darkseer. So kind of poor coordination there. They should have waited about 5 more seconds for Synderen to have that Astral back up, because then they could have chained the Disruption at least into the Astral. I mean, the illusions wouldn't have been right-clicking then, but at least it would have given time for the Enchantress to move into position to get the slow off and to guarantee the kill.
Yeah, or they just wait half a second for the enchant. But I think they thought that their damage output was high enough, and maybe they still could have gotten them because the enchant was in position to slow, but then the Darkseer came out of the jungle, nicely positioned, gets the surge off.
Yeah, and he has the smoke now, and there are 4 stacks in this camp, so he's going to take it now. He's actually going to take it with the CM, so giving the CM some much needed levels. I do like this, I guess. I mean, CM doesn't really need levels past level 2, but in theory, I guess she can use levels. I mean, they don't hurt, yeah. I guess, I don't know. The Darkseer is very level dependent too, but just splitting the experience is going to make 2 heroes more relevant rather than just making 1 quite strong. And all the Darkseer does with his levels anyway for a while is just farm, so it doesn't matter that much. Because they can't really go on a Windrunner. They can go on the OD. They like to set something up there, but Darkseer not very effective at going in and ganking an OD because the OD is just going to disruption the Darkseer if he runs up anyway. I mean, not disruption, Astral, but...
Darkseer is actually just going to continuously pull. I really like this. The CM actually has barely been in lane, but she's still... I mean, she's not a high level by any means, but she's only 1 level behind the Shadow Demon. And the Darkseer is actually a little under leveled. I'm surprised that he's only level 4, but he has been stacking this entire time, and he's trying to get both of them levels. And Awesome Play is actually doing a lot of damage to that bottom tower, and I think they wanted... I think they're just going to try to trade farm, actually, and hopefully their Leshrac gets more farm than the Panda does. But the Panda has 43 CS, 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which is insane.
Yeah, that's actually almost every single creep. I guess he's probably taken a couple from the jungle, maybe with it. No, probably not, actually. The Enchantress has been in there. So yeah, that's basically almost every single creep, which is obviously extremely good from Sock. Or...
Shishka.
But I'm pretty sure that's Sock, right? I mean,
what?
Shka, isn't that Sakshka or whatever, originally?
I have no idea. Yeah. I was just calling him Shishka.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, Sakshka, or whatever his name was originally on mTw, so I just assumed it was the same player. But, you know, I don't know. Anyway, the Leshrac trading farm with the Panda will be good as far as kind of like who's going to take a tower sooner goes, I guess. But with the Enchantress and the fact that the Panda having his ult is going to really guarantee any team fights for the Dire for a little while. I mean, again, though, it kind of works in the same function as the Spectre plus Panda going in the OD plus Panda. The OD doesn't do a whole lot early on. I mean, it does more than Spectre, but not a ton. So I guess, other than providing his aura, that is. And imprisonment. So I guess having the Panda will kind of make up for that. And at the same time, they actually did end up taking that tower because the Enchantress did come and gank, whereas the Darkseer, or not gank, come and push, whereas the Darkseer doesn't really have the option to do that. Although Awesome Play is in a position that if he nukes down this creep wave, no, his next creep wave is a ways off. So actually, yeah, this is kind of favoring mTw at this point.
Yeah, they're getting a better farm on their carry hero, and I don't actually know what DTS's plan is here with the lineup. They're trying to play defensively. They all have Soul Rings and they have spam bubble spells. But what are they delaying for is the real question. Like, what's the end goal here for them? Are they going to just try to get Leshrac to be the biggest glass cannon in the world? Because right now he hasn't taken a tower yet, and he's getting pretty farmed. 51 CS in 8 minutes isn't bad at all, but the Panda just picked up 2 towers and he has 56.
Yeah, looks like the Panda's gonna rotate towards mid, try to set something up. He does have his ult, maybe he's thinking about buying a point booster first so he'd have enough mana for his ult and but no. And actually the Death Prophet almost going down to the Soul Catcher damage, but just barely makes it out. Has popped her ult, so maybe she'll think about turning back around. The Panda is there, but actually gets slowed by the Crystal Maiden, scaring him back, and he's just going to back off now and go back top to continue farming. And yeah, meanwhile, it looks like it's just going to be kind of more passive farm trading play from basically both teams, just trying to get their essential levels up and core items on their important heroes.
Yeah, and a big thing here is that, well, Death Prophet just popped her ult, so the next minute or so, they're not really going to be able to engage. And I don't actually know what DTS's main goal, though, is still. they don't really have the late game capabilities. Leshrac is one of those heroes that, until he gets at least 2 or 3 items, he's very, very squishy. So they're not actually going to be able to fight with him effectively, and they're not trading farm exactly equally, but at the same time, they're doing this excellent job stacking. If you'll notice the Beastmaster, he's actually done like 5 pulls on that camp, and he has a Soul Ring, so he's just going to constantly use that. And that should actually catch him back up in levels. It's really smart of him.
Yeah, just when I say that you can't really do this as the Radiant, he actually does do it. I mean, it's definitely much less usual to stack this Ancients as Beastmaster as the Radiant rather than the Dire. It's much further away from the tower. But I guess now that both his towers are gone, he doesn't really have that to retreat to, so he might as well. And yeah, they're doing a really good job splitting the farm, other than basically the Leshrac. I mean, the Beastmaster's kind of sharing this experience in gold, at least a little bit with the CM. The Darkseer was sharing with the CM as well, so I guess it's really important to them to get the CM levels, and pretty soon boots, and she has 500 gold. I assume she'll be buying those soon. And then that's, I've got to assume, approximately when they will actually start trying to put in pressure. Once M finishes his camp, once the CM has the boots, the ult will be back up from Death Prophet, and Leshrac has level 9 now, so he's got max Edict. So when they've got to start trying to take some towers and force some team fights and really abuse their high damage AoE ults and abilities.
Yeah, but at the same time, Panda just picked up his Blink Dagger now, so I mean that's a guaranteed one fight, and he's actually going to TP down the bottom and maybe try to set something up. They've actually got 3 heroes down here, and he's going to blink forward, but catch nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately that does show off the blink, which is kind of not so good. It might have been shown top. I wasn't sure if he was farming the lane after. I think, yeah, he was farming the lane after he picked up his blink, so I actually wasn't really surprised there. Meanwhile, Jackal is going to keep pressuring back to his OD mid. Jackal almost has mech done, actually. Will be about 100 gold off the mech, which is actually going to be really good. Going to really help in team fights. But yeah, like you said, no, it's going to be tough to kind of play with a forcing team fight lineup against a Panda, but I don't know, maybe they think they have enough. And they've got the silence from Death Prophet, but it is only level 1, so it's not going to be long enough to keep the Panda silenced and really prevent him from ulting. So I don't know exactly what the strategy is going to be. But regardless, they are going to kind of do what I was talking about, use those 2 pushing abilities to try to take the towers here. Shadow Demon only 1 level in Shadow Poison, so not that great of a counter push. The Panda has TP'd in here and is going to blink forward, I assume. Does not actually have enough to blink Clap and ult, though, is the problem. He actually just really needs more mana, which is typically why you would see a Panda pick up drums, maybe before going for blink, or if not drums, at least a point booster or something. But here, with this limited amount of mana, it's really impossible for him to blink Thundercloud. When actually Obsidian Door are going to be in a lot of trouble here. Panda going to blink forward and get the Clap, but cannot ult. So really can't turn this into a team fight like you would like to. Has the stick charges, or the wand charges, and actually he's going to get ulted here by the Beastmaster. He's probably going to go down before even able to get his ult off. So kind of misplay by him there again, just having those mana problems. And meanwhile, Leshrac takes down the mid tower with the Edict damage.
Yeah, I think he panicked and thought that Synderen was going to go down, and he thought he was tanky enough to just live throughout it.
Oh, never mind. Sometimes I get confused these days with because of the different colors on the runes now. I saw the Crystal Maiden activated double damage. I thought she'd killed Light Blue, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Light Blue is dead. Sorry, confused.
No, I was just going to say that the Panda kind of overreacted there and thought that Synderen was actually going to get initiated on, so...
Oh, and Bucking Matt actually just going to die bottom one more right click. Oh, it's not barely going to be enough. Really nice play there, but actually the Astral's going to come out, and yeah, Leshrac's in a lot of trouble now. So overplaying a little bit. It was a really clever play by him, and it almost paid off, but good support coming out from mTw. For those that didn't see what happened there, actually he saw the TP coming in, he still had plenty of time left on Edict, so he actually threw the stun perfectly timed when the TP came in, and the Edict damage, since the Shadow Demon didn't have any creeps nearby, was almost enough to kill the Shadow Demon. He lived at about 15 health. So just kind of an unfortunate break there from Leshrac, but good support coming out from mTw. Panda is actually going to ult on this Darkseer. Darkseer tries surging away, but the stun actually does land, and I assume the Cyclone or Astral is going to come up soon. Darkseer, I don't know exactly what he was doing turning around there. If he kept going, maybe he would have had a better chance of getting away, but regardless, he is going to die and get that OD a kill, which is going to get a much faster force staff for this OD, which is something he really needs.
Yeah, and they're actually going to take this bottom tower for free, it looks like. It's only got 300 health left. They do have Glyph, but it doesn't look like they want to engage in a team fight here. Well, now they pop the Glyph, but I think it's kind of a wasted Glyph because nobody's in a position to TP. But they are going to go on that Death Prophet, so that's a free kill. And a tower. That went disastrously for DTS right there.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, what you're talking about in the previous game, where like if you're losing a lane, you should be winning somewhere else. Usually, if you're getting killed one place, you should be getting killed or something else somewhere else. Actually, Beastmaster stun is going to come out. Will the stun from Leshrac come in time? But no, Leshrac is actually stun going to get juked by the Shadow Beam. The Shadow Beam is going to pay for it with his life. But Edict is going to be wearing off. OD ult actually comes out and completely destroys the Beastmaster. Leshrac going to be a little bit of trouble here, but his Pulse Nova is actually still damaging down Synderen, who was frozen even through the Astral. So nice coordination there by the CM and Leshrac. Unfortunately, Astral not being so effective there against the Leshrac because of Pulse Nova or Edict. That is the one thing about Leshrac against Disruption and against Astral, is that actually his abilities still do function while he's stuck in them, which actually kind of works well for him. Meanwhile, though, there's a little bit of pressure being applied to his top tower. Catapult going to hit it a couple more times, but it's actually not going to be enough to put him in deny range, just barely. So kind of good control by Leshrac, backing off just in time to guarantee that they can, or not hopefully guarantee, that they can come take that tower just a little bit later.
Yeah, and if you'll notice, the enchants actually picked up a really quick max.
Oh, actually, Bucking Mad going to get disruption on the CM mid. Oh, Thunderclap just barely missing on the Panda, so Shadow Beam decides to throw the Purge on the CM. CM definitely going to die. The Purge is going to pop. Actually, not definitely going to die, but is going to die. Yeah, Panda.
Hit the Urn Charge on them as well, so.
Oh, yeah, right, so it was the Urn Charge. I didn't even see that. I was wondering how Panda got the kill there, but yeah, it was from the Urn Charge. Even though the Shadow Poison would have hit her anyway, I think, and killed her.
Yeah, but as I was saying, the enchant though has picked up a really quick mech, so mTw is actually looking perfect here in terms of team fights. They've got mana boost on the Windrunner, mech on the enchant, so they have their major starter items already. I mean, Sashka has a Blink Dagger, an Urn, Face Boots. He, I think, will pick up an Axe, pick up a point booster soon, or maybe he's just he's just picked up his point booster, so he's working in the direction of Axe. Synderen has his 4-staff ready, so everybody has their relevant items, whereas on the flip side, you have a Hood on Darkseer. DP actually picks up per mech and has money left over, and Beastmaster looks like he's going Neckbook, and he's relatively close to Neckbook 1 now. But I think I don't actually know what the gold graph is like, but I'd assume it's in a slight favor of mTw.
Yeah, it's actually a lot closer than I would have guessed at this point, based on the tower advantage. But I guess, actually the top tower did go down. I didn't actually see was that. I have to assume it was, no, Leshrac actually managed to snipe the tower top. So I guess that's what's putting this gold graph back close. So good job by him rotating up there. And actually he's going to pick up his Void Stone, so he is going to be going for basically the standard Leshrac build at this point, which is to disassemble into a Bloodstone. And has already the drums as well, so he does have really good farm. And I mean, I don't know, at this point in the game, farm actually does affect him more than the Panda. I mean, Panda isn't going to have any items that really do much for him for a little while here. I mean, drums are nice, but not that essential. After the blink, the only item that really matters that much at this point is just getting items, which he's going to be a ways off from. He does have his point booster now, so won't have as many mana problems. But other than that, the Leshrac really is going to benefit more from items, just at least for a little while. But once Panda picks up that Aghanims, it's going to be really tough for DTS to ever win a team fight, especially when the OD ult is up. That is the one downside for mTw, though, is that they have a lot of long, well, not a lot, but they have two very extremely long cooldown teamfight ults, which can, I guess, be a problem for them if DTS has managed to apply a lot of pressure. But so far, DTS hasn't really been applying that much pressure, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think they're actually just waiting on Lesh to get a little more tanky before they enter a team fight. If he can get into a good fight and picks up crucial Bloodstone charges, then it's really in DTS's favor. But they're actually Surge.
Yeah, on the Beastmaster, he's not actually going to see the Shadow Beam. Shadow Beam doing a nice job fogging him, but then is actually going to come back out. Astral going to come out. Great play there, completely negating the effects of the Beastmaster ult. But good stun coming out from Leshrac, force-staffing back the Obsidian Destroyer. Obsidian Destroyer going to get mech'd up by the Enchantress, which is going to mean she's going to live. Enchantress may be thinking about throwing some, no, impetuses aren't going to come out because Kabop is, or no, not Kabop, M is actually going to TP right back out. I was looking at Kabop because of the Enchantress. And yeah, meanwhile, that's just going to be a 1-for-nothing. The Astrals and Disruptions are very effective against that Beastmaster because that long duration stun completely being negated by being banished.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice synergy for mTw. So every time that guy roars, they're just gonna, and that actually they're gonna just pick up a free CM right here. Not much you can do about that.
Oh, actually the clap coming out the wrong time from really nice vacuum. Ult gonna come out, and actually they're all gonna die. Great play by Darkseer. The Panda ult is out, and he's going to try to get a kill on the CM. CM will probably go down to the Fire Panda here. Actually, no, and the negative Earth charge is off. For Stun going to come back up in 1 second. The Earth Panda is actually getting fogged, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. CM is actually in a tough position, but she is coming back in so that she can get the freeze on Panda when he becomes real. He does blink away just in time, though. Leshrac going to hit him with the lightning. The question is, will they be able to catch? Drum is up. I haven't actually used the drum charge, though, but they're going to catch him regardless. Stun going to come out. Actually, no, just lightning is going to be enough to finish him off. And a great turn on the team fight there by DTS, all thanks to that amazing vacuum ult from the Darkseer.
Yeah, that actually went perfectly for them. mTw slightly mistimed it, so as soon as the CM came out of the disrupt, she didn't get clapped, and on top of that, the turnaround was just fantastic. They all got vacuum stunned, DS ulted, and the damage was way too high for them. They hit like 4 AoE spells at once on mTw, and their heroes are way too fragile for that to happen and for them to live.
Yeah, and that is the Bloodstone for Leshrac. Does have 6 charges now. Unfortunately, that's, I think, no, it starts with 4 charges? No, it starts with 6, yeah, so he picked it up right after that fight, actually. I mean, unfortunately, didn't have to get the charges from that fight then. Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way he only got 2 charges from that, so it had to be picked up afterwards. And, I don't know, the Darkseer basically has his pipe up, actually. It might be flying to him on the courier right now, yeah. So the Darkseer has the pipe up, so I mean, that was a really bad fight for mTw to lose like that. And like I said, the other problem is they're going to have to wait a little while before they can actually force any sort of team fight again because of having to wait on that Panda ult. OD didn't actually manage to get his ult off there because he just died so quickly. I think, yeah, also, in addition to all the AoE damage spells, there's also, I mean, vacuuming into the Death Prophet silence is really nice. Death Prophet actually in a kind of risky position here. They do have vision from the Hawk, though, so they know that it's basically only the Shadow Demon there. Shadow Demon just throwing out some poison, not actually hitting the Death Prophet. Death Prophet does have her Bloodstone as well, so double Bloodstones up from DTS. That's going to be really important for them to get a few kills in team fights, and it's going to really give them an almost insurmountable advantage.
Yeah, they have one of these, they're actually doing something like a snowball strat where if they win 1 or 2 team fights, it's just going to play over way too much for mTw to win. So mTw really needs to capitalize, win these early team fights, make the Bloodstone a lot less effective, and then play on from there. But I mean, that mid fight pretty much just like swung the game completely in one area. They were able to pick up 2 Bloodstones with that, and the farm advantage has definitely gone in the favor of DTS now.
Yeah, if we take a look at the gold graph, it was basically even before that fight, and now 5,000, 6,000 gold advantage for DTS is going to be really tough for mTw to deal with. The Obsidian Destroyer playing forward just a little bit there, but he does have the 4 staff, so I mean he's safe. He actually is having to go for BKB before getting Hex, which is kind of rough on OD. He's not going to deal a lot of damage. I mean the 4 staff and int treads are not bad, but it's really, I mean, it's not until he has that Hex he really does a very substantial amount of damage. And because of all the teamfight abilities coming out from DTS. Oh, nice Shackle Shot actually. Going to lash the Leshrac here. But there's questionable follow-up from them. The problem is nice vacuum from the Darkseer, actually going to catch 3. Throwing out the ult, kind of in a questionable position. But the problem is the Panda is actually not here yet. And actually he is now, but does not have his ult. So without, oh no, the Panda ult actually is coming out now. Meanwhile, Obsidian Destroyer is going to go down. Basically just the AoE damage way too much. Another Shackle Shot is able to hold the Leshrac down, but just the 2 AoE abilities that I was talking about earlier. The Death Prophet ult and the Leshrac ult just doing too much damage to those Dire heroes to stand up. And they do take the tower plus 3 kills, including this Panda.
Oh, they're going to get the Panda as well.
Yep. Yeah, oh, nice 4 staff. It's not going to be enough. Going to Astral.
I actually think that was a bad 4 staff because that means Cinder is going to go down as well.
Yeah, and that's basically exactly what we're talking about. Now 11 Bloodstone charges for Leshrac and Death Prophet, which is really going to be tough for mTw to deal with, and that's going to put them, I'm sure, at least, I would have to say close to a 10k disadvantage.
Yeah, the worst thing about playing against a Bloodstone is, of course, for every charge you get 4 seconds off the next time you die. So if mTw actually does win a team fight and they try to push, DTS has enough Bloodstone charges on both their relevant heroes that it should just be pretty much free Aegises.
Oh, and Shadow Demon actually going to be in a tough spot here. Doesn't know about this Invis Leshrac. Leshrac probably going to wait for the Death Prophet to rotate over here and then going to go. Oh, the Sentry Ward does come out. So he's actually able to start getting really lucky there, placing down the Sentry just in time. Leshrac should have gone about a half second sooner. Probably saw the items on the Shadow Demon, knew what the Shadow Demon was going there to do, and had to know the Sentry would come out. Oh wait, no, the Sentry. Wait, no, it wasn't a Sentry actually. It was just.
No, it was just a ward.
No, but how did? So he just missed the stun? I guess I looked away for a second.
He went
there.
Too early.
Okay.
I think he was anticipating the DP to silence right there. but DP was like half a second behind, and it was enough for him to get away.
Yeah, I assumed since he got the disruption off first, that it was just because I saw the sentry placed down, I thought that was a dire sentry, but it's actually... Oh, he did use a sentry and just got killed. Okay.
Yeah, but he still went like half a second too early.
Did he? Okay. All right.
Yeah, because he should have just waited like a tick, and I don't know. It was also kind of the DP's fault because she was in range of silence there because it is level 4, but I don't know. All around, good play by SD. A little bit of a misplay by DTS, but I mean they've been playing really well up until that point, so they can live.
And if you do look at that gold graph, it is basically the 10,000 gold advantage I was thinking about. They do have good vision up here, so they're actually going to go to try to catch haste on the CM. It's going to be enough to... Oh, no, but the disruption in time, Beastmaster ult could come out, but the OD is probably nearby waiting just to astral that SD. Decides to force staff him away instead, but that's questionable because the CM could have caught him there, but it was just a little bit too far. They just dove in too much and actually not able to catch thanks to the haste on the CM. So almost nice vision there from DTS coming out, but good reaction time from mTw backing off just in time. And looks like DTS is going to go try to force Roche with the Death Prophet ult, I'm sure, but I'm not sure how effective this is going to be. I mean, mTw know they're here. DTS are kind of just banking on the fact that mTw can't react to this, but deciding to back out anyway. I don't really know why they thought that mTw wouldn't contest that. I guess maybe just trying to bait in. They do surge up the... Oh, but Fogged is... yeah, Obsidian Destroyer is actually going to get forced staffed away, so he's going to be safe. Still no Beastmaster Roar. Beastmaster roaring this SD. SD getting imprisoned, so they're going to actually try to go on the OD here. SD just going to completely get popped. Meanwhile, awesome play running after Kebab. Kebab actually going to be fine, though, because Windrunner does manage to shackle Leshrac to a tree, and DTS are just going to back out. So really just using the Roche as an attempt to bait mTw in and then to surge one of their heroes forward to catch them, thanks to the nice vision.
Yeah, the worst part about that, though, is in most games, that wouldn't be disastrous because, it's not leading to a tower or anything, but at the same time, the Bloodstone charges, man. Yeah. And you're giving up 2 of them, one to the Leshrac and one to the the Death Prophet.
And Death Prophet actually does have 2,400, so I'm kind of looking to see her buy up Travels next, so that if she does die anytime soon here, she'll basically just be back in the team fight like a Furion would be, essentially with the buyback, but not really thanks to the Bloodstone charges. Actually, Shackle Shot landing on the Leshrac. The Leshrac is just way too tanky, just kind of laughing at the Windrunner, and just going to back off and go farm the woods for a little bit. Does have Mystic Staff, so we'll be going towards this Hex. Actually pretty close to actually finishing that Hex, which is going to be really nice for him. Going to allow him to basically initiate on his own, hexing into a stun. And I don't know, the only consolation here for mTw is that Panda is very close to getting both 16 and his Aghanims, which is going to be really strong in teamfights. But the question is whether it will be strong enough.
Yeah, I don't actually know if they have enough burst damage now with the rest of them. It's actually only OD and Panda doing any damage. They don't have enough disables to really lock down that Leshrac, and now that he has an Aegis, he's pretty much unkillable, and once he picks up that Sheep Stick, he's just going to put out so much damage, and I don't actually... How close is Cinder into his BKB? Because he needs it, like, now. He needs it for the next team fight, and he's actually quite far away from it. He's only got the Ogre Club, and he's 500 away from the closest component after that.
I don't know. I really feel like the OD was just kind of a poor pick by them. I mean, the synergy with the Astral is nice against the Beastmaster, but I don't know. The OD really just hasn't done much for them at all, to be honest, most of this game. I mean, as an OD does. He doesn't really do anything until he has essential items, and because of that, I don't know. If they were in situations where they kind of had lots of teamfight stalls, like face-offs, where they could spam abilities using the Essence Aura, it might have been more worth it. But that's never really going to happen against the Darkseer, because, you know, anytime you have a standoff like that, Darkseer's just going to surge someone forward or surge himself forward to try to catch heroes. So, I don't know, the OD just really hasn't panned out at all, and I think it was kind of, to be honest, a slightly poor pick by mTw. I think it's what's kind of holding their team back here.
I think they had some idea of synergy where, like, if the Shadow Demon got ulted by BM, then, you know, the OD could just, like, astral out, and vice versa. So, like, no matter what, they would try to negate the damage from Beastmaster, but, I mean, aside from that, it hasn't really done much, and that's not really enough to make it a worthwhile pick.
Meanwhile, though, there's going to be a lot of trouble here. Actually, getting disruption, the CM, but CM Illusion's not really going to do much. Death Prophet ult should be down pretty soon. There's pretty much all they can hope for. They can't really go in here and fight fun because Death Prophet ult's up. Windrunner actually taking a lot of damage. Nice ult from the OD. Panda blinking in with a great shackle shot, holding the Leshrac. The question is, can they actually take down... Oh, no, actually not the Leshrac, the Death Prophet. Not going to be able to take him down. A lot of damage going on the racks here. Kebab dropping to about half health. And looks like the Death Prophet is finally almost going to go down. Wow, just barely escaping, and the Panda's not actually able to chase after. Going to Cyclone actually the Beastmasters. They can try to go after the Pandas, but realizing it's not going to be possible. Leshrac actually getting shackled to Death or to Darkseer. Great shackle there. Leshrac probably going to go down, but good vacuum from the Darkseer. Actually going to catch all of mTw in it, and mTw losing themselves instead. This is going to beat a melee Rax. Assuming that, yeah, with 15 Bloodstone charges, he will have the mana for Edict in no time. Melee Rax is going to go down, and just a really nice turnaround at the very end there from DTS. Thanks again to this MVP play by the Darkseer.
Yeah, mTw actually played that fight about as well as they possibly could have. They queued up everything perfectly, but at the same time, I mean, 15 Bloodstone charges, they all have like 2k health, and I mean, not 2k, but like 1500 health, and they have a pipe and a mech. There's actually no way that they can burst anyone down in time, and DTS is barely living and winning team fights, which is a good sign for mTw, but with these Bloodstone charges, they're just going to keep carrying that into a larger and larger advantage. And actually, Leshrac's going to come out of this fight with 4.2k, expect to see a Sheep Stick and another item. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter what he gets, because the fight went perfectly for them, and he was in the middle of it too, the Leshrac, and they still couldn't take him down at all. And he still has an Aegis as well.
Yeah, and looks like the Death Prophet will actually be picking up Shivas as well, so that's going to be another big team fight item for them. Although, well, yeah, the attack speed is pretty effective against the Panda and against Odin and such, so, I mean, obviously just having the AoE more AoE damage and slow for when people get caught in that vacuum, which has just been so big for them. Actually, the Darkseer does pick up a Vlad's. I don't know about that one. Well, it does give armor, which is nice, but I don't know. I mean, I know the lifesteal isn't the most important thing about it. Usually it's the armor and the damage, but the damage isn't actually even that important for them. They don't really have any real right-click heroes. Actually, CM getting shackled to an illusion here is going to go down to the impetus from the Impeti, is it maybe? From Kebab, and meanwhile Leshrac and Shadow Demon just trading blows and going to back off. But yeah, I mean, the Commandor is maybe the most important thing, well, along with the armor, and they don't really have any right-click damage. I mean, they are kind of aura stacking it along with the Inner Beast from the Beastmaster, but I don't know. Still, I think kind of questionable effectiveness, because the primary sources of damage are coming out from Leshrac's AoE spells and the Exorcism from Death Prophet, which neither of which really can be affected.
It just helps sustain their pushes, makes the creeps a little stronger, just kind of helps out a little here and there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised that the DP is still bottom too. It's kind of slowing down the push top.
Yeah, I guess she should.
I mean, there's no other item I think he could have gotten that would give him the same use for 2150.
Yeah, I mean, that's not untrue. I'm just kind of surprised, I don't know, that he didn't just, I guess they feel that they can end it sooner, because normally I would expect him to go into a Hex or something.
Yeah, I think that they think that this game is pretty much done. The next time they take a Rax, that they'll just win the game. So,
oh, and actually Hex is going to come out of the Panda here. See if they can change it into a stun, but I'm not sure if they're going to have enough. Shackle Shot is going to latch, but Leshrac just barely moving in so that the Shackle would latch both heroes. Panda going to use his ult, but just not really able to deal damage to anyone, because everyone on the Radiant here is just way too tanky, and really this is just being turned around. Death Prophet coming in with the ult is going to just annihilate everyone. Shiva's coming out. This last Panda is probably going to go down here to the Death Prophet ult, and that's going to be a team wipe for the Radiant. Dire going to take this tier 2 tower and push into the tier 3. I imagine this is going to be Rax as well. There's not, yeah, and actually the GGs are just going to come out from mTw. So, I don't know, not necessarily poor play by mTw there, it was just that DTS was just way too far ahead, like we were talking about, and there wasn't a lot mTw could do at that point.
Yeah, I thought mTw actually played fantastically up until the point, I think the really big turning point was mid, where they overextended slightly for the CM and misplayed it. I mean, obviously there were little things that that really kind of made this game as it was, but at the same time I think that was kind of like the turning point where DTS came out of that fight really big. They got 4 kills on all the relevant heroes, and CM actually, the most painful part was that the CM actually survived.
Yeah.
Like 50 health.
CM actually running it, decided she wanted to use her ultimate, maybe the first time she's ever cast that ability in a competitive game, so running into the fountain teeth and
victory ult.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, I do. No, that's a victory ult, but well, the CM ult, usually you don't even have that ult when you win. Just play some stats. But anyway, this is well, a pretty short game, but exciting nonetheless. Interesting play from both teams, and very high aggression, like we were talking about, to end at 30 minutes. So a lot of fun to watch, fun to commentate, and we will be back very shortly with a round 4 game, which hopefully should be even more exciting than this.